Thanks to our sponsor Donedeal.ie, we bring you Business Bites, the best bits of that great business show, served up in individual servings.
Donedeal Motors is home to Ireland's largest range of new and premium used cars. That's why you'll find cars from Audi and BMW dealerships on Donedeal. Are you looking for a 7-seater to accommodate your growing family? Maybe you're after a luxury saloon to make a statement. We have the car for you. You'll also find Ireland's largest range of electric cars to help you make the switch. Visit Donedeal.ie today to start the search for your next car.
From episode 134, Louise Langton, the social tailor, explains how to create a website that truly sells. Now, Ireland's biggest earner has been on to us again. Regular listeners will know that I'm talking about super supporter Bob Hamilton, founder of Irish Earns, get it? .ie. He told us that Louise Langton was almost, but not quite, finished doing some work for him. Amongst the many positives that he had to say about someone he called a remarkable lady was, she's high energy, charming, intelligent, professional, and effortlessly brings added value to every interaction. Bob says that branding and web design guru Louise Langton, who trades as the social tailor, designs not just for the aesthetic or for the user experience, but for the sale. Louise Langton, welcome to that great business show.
What an introduction. No pressure at all.
But when it comes from Bob Hamilton, he knows what he's talking about. And he said, he actually emailed me and he told me, you have got to have this woman on.
Bob is on the ball. There's no doubt about it. If you haven't met Bob, you know, he is really on the ball.
Well, there's a lot of reasons why you shouldn't meet Bob, because Bob, as when you mentioned, sells earns. So if you're doing business with Bob,
his expectations are high. That's
well, no,
for sure.
Not just that, but you might be heading one way.
So, yeah, well, attach yourself to Bob because he's a good businessman. He knows what he's doing.
He certainly does. Ex-Bank of Ireland, and he's now also Trees, Irish, what is it, Trees?
IrishTrees.ie.
You better get it out because he's going to love you all the more for it.
Yeah.
The social tailor. Why do you call yourself the social tailor?
Yeah, great question, because, you know, I build websites and I do branding, but they're not out of the box template websites. They're bespoke and they're tailored for every business that I work with.
And why? Because if I go online, I can see Wix and I can see lots of other ones. Click of a button, click, 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 all done. Happy people.
Yeah, and they look great. And if you're a small Irish business and you're low budget and you're getting into setting up your business, why wouldn't you just build your own website? Why wouldn't you? And a lot of the companies that do that come to me about a year or two down the line and wonder why no one's landing on their website. Nobody's shopping. Nobody's clicking anything. In fact, they aren't even aware of whether customers are going onto their website or not. So I think, yes, to put up like a landing page or a home page that looks okay on the surface, whether anyone can find it or not, that is a whole other ballgame.
And the reason that, one of the reasons that Bob mentioned you was because of that sale thing, because strictly speaking, you're not a techie. You have a past, as they say.
I do, a dark past. I do. Well, I suppose I'm coming to web design from a business point of view. So 20 years ago, I studied web design in college and graphics. And
was there a web back 20 years ago?
There actually was, believe it or not. We were really lucky in the 90s. We didn't have what everyone else had, like a Sega or a Nintendo. We had a desktop. So we were the nerdy kids. We didn't have the cool stuff. So we had a desktop. So really early on, I was using DOS. I was like a little nerd, you know, programming and all that kind of stuff. So I went to college in like 2000 and studied web design and graphics, animation, video, photography. They had loads of multimedia courses. And then I went on to study fine art in IADT, which I quickly realised just wasn't commercial, wasn't like a commercial kind of role. And that the difference between art and design has a function and a purpose, and art is a completely different thing altogether. So after all that, I went into buying. Of course, it's the natural progression.
And by buying, you're not talking about going around to shops buying. You are talking as being a buyer for shops.
Yeah. After I left college, I worked in Cleary's had a little jewellery stand, Pulse Accessories. And over that summer, it just developed and I became the store manager. And then 6 months later, I moved out to their wholesale showroom and set up their first wholesale showroom. We were doing all the shows in the RDS. I was learning about pricing, about product. And about a year after that, there was an opening and buying on a Friday, and on a Wednesday, I was on a flight to China. And I spent the following 12 years going backwards and forwards to China and Korea and India and Europe and wholesale shows and developing products and packaging and branding for loads of Irish companies. The chances are you've probably bought something that I've made, is the crux of it.
Which proves yet again what you do in college or in school or wherever you might get an education doesn't always translate into what you end up doing.
No, but it's good training and it's good foundational stuff. But the experience is really, I've had to deal with containers of all of our Christmas stock going on fire. You don't learn in college how to deal with that, like at the spur of a moment.
You get a hose and you put it out. What did you do?
Oh, we replaced all our stock. You need a good network of suppliers that you can tap into all the time. If you're reliant on one, you're in big trouble. So you need to keep all those relationships really well balanced along with their payments and everything else. So, it was an amazing experience, really, but there was a lot of flying. So then I went on anyway to work as a buyer for Aldi, which was a completely different ballgame. You're going from a medium-sized Irish company where it was, you're developing ranges, going into maybe Duns or Heaton's and you're presenting ranges and everything's amazing and you're doing their branding. And the next Friday, you're down pulling boxes out of a container in the warehouse and pulling allocations for stores. That's what small Irish businesses do. You don't stick to what your job role says. But in Aldi, it was totally different. Everything was procedural driven, timed, so organised. So to see the difference between the two of those and how planning makes such a big difference. And it's not about having a big budget. It's about being organised, and every small Irish business can have an element of that. So when I'm coming back then to doing the web design, I'm always thinking commercially, how are we actually going to sell this product? It's not about a homepage and about me page. And, a 10-year-old can tell you that. It's about how do we sell the product.
And I'll come back to that in a second because I need to find out some dark secrets from Aldi. One of the things you just told me was, coming up to Christmas, you have bought or you have prepared 1 year ago.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's the kind of planning. And it's retail. Anyone that's ever worked in retail, it evolves. You have to be reactive, but you plan for the 80% and the 20% is firefighting. That's kind of the goal, but there's always going to be something. Your competitor might come out with something. But to plan 6 months to a year ahead. Even we had a lovely partnership with the IRFU and we brought out a lovely clothing range of all the rugby stuff, and they're still doing all the stickers in store and all that kind of stuff for the schools. That had to be planned like months and months ahead. A year ahead, for the production, delivery, organised for the stores, all the stuff that's involved from the very concept to actually getting it to hit shelves for customers.
Did it do your head in eventually?
No, no, it didn't. I would recommend going to work. I absolutely loved working for Aldi. There was a group of 50 or 60 buyers, predominantly women, which was great. And the teamwork that went on there is unbelievable. They have a fantastic team and that's why their products are so good. It was a really hard decision to leave. Hard.
But you took that decision.
Packed up my plants and my calculator in my little box, and it was a really sad day leaving. But it was time for me to go out on my own. I'd been thinking about it for a long time. And in the background a few years earlier, when I was working as an accessories buyer, I had been kind of doing little markets at the weekend, selling bits of products, and I had my own little website. So I'd kept the website thing up in the background all along, just because, 1999, everyone's coding. 2020, there's no coding. It's all builders. There's software for everything now, even though, it's great to have the foundations there. So it was time. It was something I'd been thinking about for a long time. Like a lot of, I'm sure, business people will tell you, you just have to go for it.
Now, Bob Hamilton can afford you, but many of our listeners couldn't possibly afford you.
Why'd you say that?
But the reason that you're here is we're going to pick your brains.
Great.
And get free advice from you. So from the top, what should an ambitious small Irish firm do with a website? What is the one that you say, oh, God, that's terrible?
Yeah. Do you know what I would really, hand on my heart, advise? When I was going to set up Social Tailor, my own business, one of the first things you do is you go and you'd look for an accountant. You wouldn't dream of sitting down and learning from scratch how to do a limited company's accounts. You know in your head it's a 4-year degree course. There's a lot that goes in behind it. And it's exactly the same with a website. If you can outsource it, do it, because it's going to be the best it can be, rather than going into Wix or whatever and trying to set up one for yourself. Get it done professionally. That's what I would recommend. I've so many business coming to me that a year or two down the road, they're just trying to figure out, but I built this website and, you know, I don't think anyone's landing on it, or no one ever books in for an appointment. I wonder why, you know. So,
and what are they doing wrong?
It's not optimized, so it's not Google friendly. Google are our best friend and they're also our worst enemy, because we've got to play by their rules. When our customers type in, how do I get rid of this back pain? How do I get rid of shoulder pain? You want your physiotherapy clinic to pop up. How do you get your website to do that? That's exactly what I do.
And is there not a YouTube that would explain all of the above?
There is. So if you've got about 4 years and like time, you know, to sit down and go through all of those, can anyone build a website? Absolutely they can. But as a business owner, whatever you started your business for, it doesn't matter if it's Julie's Candles. You started the business to actually make amazing scented candles that you want your customers to enjoy. You didn't start it to spend, you know, between 6 o'clock at night and 1 o'clock in the morning every night trying to figure out why your website's not working. So I would say, do what you're good at, spend your time with your customers and on your products, and put your energy where it's needed and where your business is going to benefit the most from.
And I haven't asked you this question, but I presume that you have some lovely examples of successes of yours, so that you went from, you know, 0 to 100 miles an hour. What have you done? What have you managed to do for clients?
Well, I got an opportunity to build a lovely website there just over Christmas. Actually, it's a product that's on the shelves in Aldi, but I didn't meet them through Aldi. They're called the Cookie Dough Company. It's cookiedough.ie.
I know of them, yeah.
Yeah, and that was a fantastic project to work on, because I didn't do their branding myself, but I adopted it for the website, and it's really trendy. It's 90s. It's really like bang on trend, and their website is flying now. They're doing really well.
What have you done, or what did they do that has made it so successful?
Well, it's hand in hand. So it's like your website and your social media should really be talking to each other and going hand in hand. Your social media is a great platform to actually talk and engage with your customers, and your website is your platform where customers actually will go and buy and see that it's a real company.
And your social media nowadays, it keeps moving. That's one of the issues. I was a big Twitter user. Twitter's down. Twitter's not dead, but it's heading that way. What are you using?
I use Instagram because it's such a visual platform, and I'm going to be moving over to TikTok shortly as well.
And what will that mean for you and for your clients? I mean, go back to the urns. These are urns for dead people's ashes. How are you going to put them onto TikTok?
I mean, it's possible. It is absolutely possible. It's one of the nice things about having a good concept of what your company ethos is and your brand. And when I say your brand, I don't mean your logo. Your brand is your customer service. It's your logo on your invoice. At every point that a customer touches your business, that's your brand. It's the ethos of your business. It's what your customers say about you when you're not in the room. So how would you portray yourself across on TikTok if you were Irish Urns or Irish Trees? There's always a way to do that.
And does it have to be fun? Or?
Doesn't have to be funny videos. I mean, I certainly wouldn't recommend comedy videos for TikTok for Irish Urns. Definitely.
That's what I was thinking. Trying to avoid. So what would you do?
Well, while social media is not one of my services, I would probably I would recommend a much calmer approach and something that's more appropriate to the brand. I mean, video is key. Video is absolutely king, especially when it comes to your customers searching for your products or for your company. If you don't have video, you're really going to get lost.
Max length for that video? 45 seconds? Longer?
30 to 45, I would say. Yeah, just really short, really digestible for customers, and really to the point. Something I see a lot of businesses do, and there's a lot of fluff. A, B, C. Tell your customers what you do, and don't be afraid to be repetitive. You know yourself, when you go onto your phone now, whether it's Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, there's so much to pick from. There's just so much in the feed, so much. You have to be repetitive. You have to be repetitive.
That's interesting, because that was, of course, done stores back in the long time ago, where they were better value beats them all.
Yeah.
And they beat that into you to the point that I now still sing it probably 300 years later.
Yeah.
And in terms of SEO, search engine optimization, that you do, That's a forever moving problem or issue for companies because keywords, they move.
Yep.
And your opposition is moving and. What's the answer? Or what's the key to that one?
I mean, being practical is a really huge part of it. You can kind of play the Google game and put in what you think Google wants. But actually, all Google is trying to do is make your website as searchable as possible. From a techie point of view, there's loads of software you can get. I use a piece of software called Rank Math, and it measures everything on the website. So I plug it all in. We optimize the whole website, make it as Google friendly as possible, and then we measure it. Anything you measure, you can improve, just to make it as commercial as possible. Because there's no point. It's like if you had a retail store, you wouldn't open it down the back of an industrial estate with no sign over the front. So when you build a website and you don't make it Google friendly, that's essentially what you're doing. The whole point is to make your customers find you and buy. We've all got mortgages. That's the whole point. Yeah.
And Google or Google only, or do you ever think of any of the other search engines anymore?
Well, I think the top search on Bing is Google. So
that says it all.
That'll tell you everything you need to know.
And Google itself is, I mean, there are attempts trying to rein Google in. Has it made any difference at all, or?
I think it'll be a slow change. It's like turning a tanker. They just have such a huge monopoly. So unless something drastic in the market happens, and we've seen big drastic changes across industries over the last 6 months to a year with all everything being let go and the turn down in the tech industry. But no, I don't think Google's really going anywhere.
And do you advertise on behalf of your clients on Google? Do you use Google Ads?
I don't, no.
Why is that?
So SEO is actually a really specific and functional job. I optimize all of the websites, but I don't advertise on Google Ads. It's just not part of my service. And it's like, say, for example, if you had a tiler and a plumber in the kitchen, you wouldn't ask the plumber to put. So we work in the same room, but we don't do the same job. It's
okay.
Marketing and advertising rather than website SEO.
And there's far more to SEO, to search engine optimization, than just a keyword, I presume. Is it what else is built into that or baked into it?
There's metadata, there's markup schema, there's lots. There's so many things. How your website, how your page is structured, if you have the right headings, if you've all your keywords built into it, if you've links in and out of your website, but Google prefers links within your website as well. If you've got video, if you've got images, all the images have data behind them that have to be put in as well. So there's a couple of layers, there's a couple of things.
Do you use LinkedIn at all?
I do a small bit. I get a few customers contacting me through LinkedIn, but I'm not on it enough as anyone is.
But you don't try to sell through LinkedIn, do you? I
don't really, no. To be honest, I haven't really needed it. I started the business last January, so I'm just over a year, and last year was good. This year has been double, but it's all been just through people referring me. So actually,
like Bob,
like good old Bob, yeah. So I haven't really needed social media. I know that's a crazy thing to say in 2023, but I haven't really relied on social media at all for work yet. So we'll see. I mean, I'll keep it tipping over. Just.
We will run out of time in about a few minutes. So, 2 things that to do and 2 things just don't do it that somebody is listening to.
2 things to do. Keep it simple. Keep it simple.
What does that actually mean?
Like actually tell your customers what you're doing. Make it really, really easy and straightforward for your customers.
I sell tiles.
Exactly.
Do you have to say, I sell really nice tiles? Do you have to say, I sell Indian tiles?
You could get into that. I mean, they say Coca-Cola doesn't sell Coke, they sell friendship, because they have all this stuff on the front of their bottles and all that kind of stuff. And they've, a $10 million budget for their marketing. Just start by telling customers what you actually do and make it as easy for customers as possible to buy. This is our product with a lovely button underneath to click where to buy. And a lot of websites just don't do those really basics. So definitely do that.
They're the do's and the do-nots.
The do-nots. There's so many to pick from.
Well, just a big one.
A really nice one. Don't, if you're doing your own website, please don't put text on top of an image. Nobody can read it. I see it on so many websites. Please don't do it.
If you put black text onto a white background, surely you can read that.
There you go. Now you're talking. Keep it simple. There you go. ABC. Yeah.
Okay. Louise, there is a final question that we ask everybody, and I hope you read your email. She's looking at me as if...
No, I did. I did a course.
Phew.
I did a course, yeah.
Hire in a heartbeat. Who would Louise Langton hire in a heartbeat?
Do you know who I'd love to partner with or have on my team? Someone actually that I have been following for years and saw at Enterprise Week do a lovely talk is Sonia Lennon.
Yep.
She's an amazing advocate for women in business, and they only launched their Lift program there like 2 years ago, but she's phenomenal. Yeah.
And she has gone through another pivot, I think, has she? I think that she's, I think the Lennon McCartney, I was going to say Lennon McCartney,
Yes.
Courtney Lennon Courtney is now no longer, but she's doing other stuff as well.
It's out of Duns, but I think they're supplying across Europe now. Yeah. Yeah.
Why not?
Oh,
550 million?
She's not going anywhere, that's for sure. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Well, we will tell Sonia that you want her and you need her maybe Tuesday.
Tuesday would be good. Monday would be even better.
Okay. Anybody who wants to contact you will find you where, Louise Langton?
Socialtailor.ie.
Lovely name. Socialtailor.ie. You chose a .ie, not a .com. Why?
It's Irish.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Irish. Some customers know that you have to be in Ireland or have an Irish address to have the .ie rather than the .com, and couldn't move out of Ireland. I'm not planning on the .com down the road, so yeah, the .ie.
Louise, thank you so much for joining
Thanks
us
so much.
on That Great Business Show.
Done Deal Motors is home to Ireland's largest range of new and premium used cars. That's why you'll find cars from Audi and BMW dealerships on Done Deal. Are you looking for a 7-seater to accommodate your growing family? Maybe you're after a luxury saloon to make a statement. We have the car for you. You'll also find Ireland's largest range of electric cars to help you make the switch. Visit donedeal.ie today to start the search for your next car.
De facto shaving oil, made only from natural oils. Nothing nasty on your skin.
This interview was first posted on episode 134 of That Great Business Show, essential listing for anyone wanting to sell. And for more great insights, listen back to our entire back catalogue of That Great Business Show on Spotify or